Hi, good afternoon and welcome. I'm glad you all could make it. This is our September presentation, and we have 3 more to go this year, so we've had a really good run and are also looking forward to next year. I wanted to tell you that if you ever have any ideas, okay, on a speaker, a topic that you would like to have us consider, just let us know. We have asked you to fill out a survey, and there's a space at the bottom for any suggestions, and we pay a lot of attention to those, and we use them when we can, so please consider doing that. Our speaker today is
Kim.
She keeps moving.
Yeah, I do.
is Kim Moulds from Smooth Transitions, and she, after probably being volunteered to help many family members move or organize their homes, she felt that there was a need throughout the community for this type of service. So she and a friend of hers started Smooth Transitions, and I believe now it has become a family business with your husband and your sons. And so she is here not only to talk about her services, but hopefully give you some ideas in getting your home more organized, okay, and maybe kind of, getting rid of that kid closet that's been there for 10 years and even your grandchildren don't want what's in it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
So I want to thank you so much for the introduction, and I want to thank you all so much for letting me be here today. People come to these types of, does this need to be lower?
No, it's perfect.
Okay, people come to these types of events when I'm speaking, and most of the time they already have something they want to hear about. So if I'm not addressing something that you need to hear about today, please make sure that you stop me. My phone number is written all over the place if you want to call, but I want to make sure you're getting the most you can out of this. For those who arrived a little later, there are a few pads and some pens in the back left table. So let's get decluttering, preparing for an easier tomorrow. So downsizing and decluttering is not easy. It can actually be very hard, and I do understand that. It is a multifaceted personal journey for each of us that often brings on emotional as well as physical pain. So today, I hope to offer you a few survival tips that may make your journey a little easier. Overwhelmed. Don't know where to start. I happen to love everything I have. What if my children don't want it? How am I going to get rid of what I don't want? These are things that I hear all the time. Actually, lately I've been getting phone calls from people who have gone out towards Fredericksburg to one of the many retirement communities there. We also get we move a lot of people from Lake of the Woods to Lake of the Woods East, otherwise known as Chancellor's Village. So I get phone calls quite often where they've gone to look at an apartment, they're very excited, they can't wait to get home and get the house on the market and move to their new home. And they get home and they're overwhelmed when they see everything that needs to be done, and they very quickly decide not to move. So I totally get it. I understand that it is very difficult. I would just like to say that I personally got into the business helping my grandparents. They lived over by the college in Maurice Heights. The college bought Maurice Heights and gave the residents there, who were all seniors, they gave them 2 years to move. I was a young mom at the time, and my moves had always been pickup trucks and pizza. And my grandparents waited till the last weekend of that second year, and it did not go the way I thought it would go at all. I've since learned that we all get to a certain age where moving is just different and harder, and I definitely learned that with them. They were not only worried about what they were going to take with them, they were very worried about what wasn't going with them, and there just weren't the resources here in Fredericksburg and surrounding areas like there is now. So we're very blessed to have so many wonderful community partners that we can work with, and everyone's goal truly, if we work with them, then everyone's goal truly is to just make things easier and do the best we can. So there's only really one rule when it comes to, excuse me, downcluttering and decluttering, downsizing, decluttering, and that is the golden rule. Do not worry about what you do not want. And I know a few of you have seen the presentation I did for ARB. And so some of this you'll remember. But for some reason, boomers especially, and I'm one also, we feel like we have to move, we got to touch everything. We have to move everything out of the house. Everything has to be identified as to what we're going to do with it. And I blame Oprah. Truly, do you guys remember, or let's put it this way, how many of you remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, Oprah had this downsizing guru that would come in on her show, and everything had to leave the house, and there were blankets in the backyard, and you put on this blanket, how many? Right? Yes. You're going to put what you don't want here, what you want to donate here, what you want to sell, and he forced all of us to look at it as if it's an all or nothing type of thing, and I'm here to tell you it is not. The best thing we can do for ourselves is only worry about those things that we want, that we're going into each room at a time, each area at a time, and getting those things we want. The Oprah thing is very outdated. I think COVID had a lot to do with that. You know, the market was saturated prior to to COVID. And then COVID. What did we have time to do? Well, we had plenty of time to pare down our house, many of us, if we were lucky enough to be stuck there. And the market, I would drive by Goodwill many times and stuff would be just stacked there because Goodwill wasn't open, but at least it was out of their house. So the market was just saturated with things. And so her approach is very outdated. We certainly don't know what's good to sell and not. And the last thing we want to do is donate something that could bring you a little bit of money. So I'm going to talk about that later, but I do think his approach is a little dated for today's post-COVID world. Anatomy of a downsize. So again, I think you should be doing one room at a time, one area at a time, and you're going to be identifying the things that you love, want, need, use, and what brings you joy. And you're going to notify, what I like to do is I like to go in a room, or what I suggest you do is go into a room and only look at those things that are out, the pictures, the furniture, the lamps. Green dots are very helpful. Green dots mean going with you. If you're planning on staying at home, it means staying with you. But green means you would like to keep this item for wherever your journey takes you, wherever you're going. But we're also going to have yellow dots because there are going to be some things you either don't want to worry about now. You can't even decide if you want to worry about it now. It's one of those things you might want to take it if you're planning on moving. For whatever reason, there can be yellow dots. The yellow dots mean caution. I will deal with this later, and that is absolutely fine. This is not going to be a perfect process. For many of us, many women, I call it the henny penny effect. We actually have to see that the sky's not falling, that getting rid of these things is not as painful as we imagine, and that takes time. So green dots on those things, and perhaps when you realize the sky, many people realize the sky is not falling. Many people feel liberated. If you are one of those lucky people, then you can go back and deal with those yellow dotted items at another time. Let's see, helpful tips if you are moving, would be a floor plan to make sure that where you're moving, that the furniture with the green dots is going to fit in that new home. I also am a big believer in taking pictures. If you are moving and you're taking your favorite curio, take pictures of the shelves, take pictures of what is on your desk, groupings that you may have over a sofa, your bedstand, dresser. Pictures are always very helpful. I helped, when we were first in the business, I helped a colonel who was a paratrooper in Vietnam, and he had a whole wall, and sometimes people let me know their tell, and he was very certain to let me know those pictures were going to have to look just like that, or he was not going to be very pleased with me. So we did very well, yay, and was able to recreate that space. But it's because of pictures that we were able to do that. So take pictures of the way you like things so that if you do move, you can recreate these spaces. All right, so I've made it easy, kind of, so far, but we do have those things called memories, treasures, heirlooms, and obligations. And that's the not so easy part. I'm pretty sure that over 80% of you in this room, women. So first of all, I know most of the women in this group over 50 probably have their great-grandparents' items, their grandparents' items, and what was special to their mother. And I would venture to guess that your children, grandchildren have already said to you, I don't want anything. Right? Yes, it's a dilemma that is running rampant around here. So I do want to tell you a story. Now is the time to ask your family what they want as they say nothing. But I want you to be prepared for the nothing, but I want you to give it to them anyway. I do have a small story. When I was a young mom, after we had moved my grandparents to Chancellor's Village, my grandfather showed up at our home one day with 2 boxes, and he was very emotional. He was a mama's boy, my grandfather. And I opened up these boxes, and in them were china, very well worn china, that was his mother's. He and his brother went to the local supermarket, and every time there was a new piece of china to be bought, they bought it for their mom. And it was well loved, well worn, but my grandfather took such delight and pleasure in giving it to me, and it's become my greatest gift I don't use it, but the memory of my grandfather giving it to me and what it meant to him means everything to me. And I find I was lucky and was able to spend a lot of time with my grandparents. Up until I was almost 40 years old, I had 3 grandmothers and a grandfather. And divorce, obviously, way back when. And there are times now that I think I didn't ask enough questions thinking that I did. And I'm realizing other than my grandparents that I spent time with, I know very little about the people that came before them. And since we are the keeper, so many of us are the keeper of those things, don't be afraid to gift anyway. Gift, if you're the keeper of something, you can break up sets. You don't have to give a whole china set. Perhaps you give each family member a place setting, along with a story of why you want them to have it, what it means to you. And I feel like we should be doing this with everything. You've given your greatest gift. You've done your part. What they choose to do with it is up to them. But I'm sure it may happen, I've yet for someone to come back and say, look, I tried that and it didn't work, right? I just don't think that they know. Our children are seeing things and they don't understand the importance of these things in a real level, and perhaps they won't till they're 50 or older. Let's see. Another thing to do, especially with memories and treasures, things that aren't heirlooms, they have done studies and found that a picture of an item can evoke the same bodily response, as actually having the item. So when you're putting those yellow stickers on things and it's just because you don't know if you could ever part with it, you could take a picture of it with your phone, put the item in a box and see if you still get the same feelings, and then will feel free to get rid of those items. Another thing is obligations. We keep a lot of things because someone gave them to us. Daughter-in-law and mother-in-law actually come in at the top 5 of why my mother-in-law would be upset if she came in my home and didn't see this. My daughter-in-law would be upset if she came into my home. So when my mother-in-law and father-in-law, downsized, she gave me back what I had given her that she loved. And one of them was this cross stitch. I was so happy to give it to her, and then I realized I carried that string from one flower to another, and I framed it and gave it to her, and you can see the string going all the way in the back of the picture. So she's a sweetie because she never said a word about that. But letting your friends know that it's time for you to make a difficult decision. I now find the need to downsize. I can no longer be with as many of the things that I love that I have now, but I've always treasured the item you gave me and would love it if you would consider having it back so we both could love it together, or whatever you need to do so that those obligations, you don't feel so obliged to keep them. Also, there's a lot of things that we can do with our memories that I don't even know about. I sometimes will go on Pinterest and go, wow, what a great idea. Such as I've seen a quilt made of ties. I've seen a pillow that was made with a shirt. And I don't even remember what was written on the pocket, but something on the pocket about being grandpa's shirt. So Pinterest, if you're crafty, Pinterest gives you a lot of great ideas as well. And obligations, a phone call, no apologies, very important. So save some for last. Many times when we get the bug, first thing we do is we'll go to the paperwork or we'll go to the pictures. It's pretty thankless work, right? It's not like you can really see that it's been done. And if you're doing it in a house that has a lot to be done, seems to me, my opinion is it might be a little bit of a waste of time. I see in a perfect world, you get your home all nice and the way you want it, and then worry about the paperwork and the pictures. The paperwork fits very nicely in banker's boxes that stack very nicely against a wall in the office or wherever. And the pictures can also go in banker's boxes to be dealt with in a much neater home, whether you move or not. Some tips I've learned the hard way on pictures. If you have people that you don't know in your photos, you probably should throw it away. If you have doubles, you should probably throw away one of the doubles. And I know I have a lot of doubles because I didn't have a cell phone when my kids were growing up, so I always got doubles thinking that one of the grandparents might like a picture. Landscapes. A lot of us keep, my husband, when we go on a trip, there's none of me in front of a landscape, it's just the landscape. So I say let's get rid of the landscapes too. With the age of the internet, there is, I'm sure you'll find much better pictures than the ones you've taken. But if I'm wrong, keep those pictures and then get rid of the other ones that you can find online. Christmas time. Mom, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? Hand them over those picture boxes. Hi, can you digitize these for me? There are apps they can use. My in-laws have a frame at their house they have 3 children and too many grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and we're constantly just shooting pictures to that frame. And when they wake up each day, if we've been good, they have, new pictures. So there's a lot of ways to get your pictures where you can see them without having to have them stuck in boxes and photo albums that take up a lot of space. A method to the madness. Obviously, when you are decluttering, there are going to be some things that you didn't make the cut. There are going to be some things that you are not going to be living with if you're going to be decluttering to stay at your home, or if you're moving, there's going to be things that aren't moving with you. If you are moving, let's say you're one of the people that decided to go to Chancellor's Village, I would suggest that you move with those things you love, want, need, use, and what brings you joy. And then after you've moved, worry about those things left behind. It'll be a whole lot easier because, they didn't make the cut. And so many times when we're selling our home, there's a lot going. It's not just the move. It's not just the packing. You also have a realtor you're dealing with who wants to get the pictures done and get the house on the market and do this and do that. So when you can, it's better to move and then worry about all of that. A lot of people can't, but when you can, you should. The way I always say is to sell first. We don't know the market, but we know people who know the market, and that would be sell what you can sell first. We work with local buyers, we work with a local auction company, but I tell my clients, if you are Facebook savvy, or if your grandchildren are Facebook savvy, that is the best way to sell things. You have control over what you get for them. And of course, when they leave your home and if they go to auction, they're going to be auctioned to the highest bidder, and that just means whoever bid the highest. You don't really have any control over that. So having someone that knows Facebook or something like it that can sell those things for you is wonderful. I also have people that say, I don't care. I just want it out. And of course, in Lake of the Woods, you're very lucky because you have the Lions Club here, and I know that your Lions Club, we use them quite often for our clients here. The Lions Club will happily come and take what they know they can use. That will still leave trash and other things to donate possibly. So it's sell, donate, and trash last. And that's probably the way you should go. Let the market decide, so that when it trickles down and you're left with things, you know that's either donate or trash. So a few tips and tricks I've spent a lot of time talking about if you're moving. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to just the emotional part of it. Unfortunately, when we are helping people, that is one of the biggest milestones, is the hand-holding that someone helping others gives, hand-holding and guidance, and that can be the most difficult part for the person who's trying to downsize and declutter. But a few tips and tricks. For the women in here, I don't know about you, I'm really bad with clothes. I have clothes that are a little bit larger than I wear now, a little bit smaller than what I wear now, and then I have what I wear now. And they all come out, and it takes me more than this trick that I'm about to tell you does not apply to me, but maybe it'll apply to you. And that is, when you get your clothes out each season, hang them up so that the hanger is facing you. And then as you wear these outfits and hang them back up, you hang them the correct way. And then at the end of the season, whatever is still facing you, you know you didn't wear that season, and then you can realistically theoretically get rid of them. There's another, so I'm telling a lot about myself today. I also have ADD. And so this Move Elsewhere bin really appeals to me. And that is a bin that you take with you in each room. And as you find things that don't belong in that room, instead of leaving that room to put whatever it is in another room, because if I, on my nightstand right now, I have a tape measure because I measured my floors. If I'm in my room working and I decide that I see that tape measure, as soon as I go in the kitchen to put it away, I'm not going back in the bedroom, right? I will have now found something I need to do in the kitchen. So this elsewhere bin, keeps that from happening. Things that belong elsewhere, you just stick in that bin and keep going in that room so that you don't have that problem of flitting all day and getting absolutely nothing done. Coded storage boxes are another thing. Some people have Halloween decorations, Easter decorations, fall decorations, spring decorations, Christmas, 4th of July, and I've seen it where they all share the same space. And so color coding tubs, either with a sticker or writing in a different color on the side of it, whatever you need to do, can be very helpful when it comes to pulling out those things. Over the door storage, probably my favorite thing. So when my kids were growing up, my girlfriend across the street had 3 boys, and all the kids ended up at Susan's house. And Addison never knew, he's our son, our business partner, and he never had his shoes. We went to King's Dominion one time, pulled in the parking lot, got out of the truck. Mom, I don't have my shoes. So his shoes were always at my girlfriend Susan's house in one of those over-the-door storage shoe things, the things you can put your shoes in that have the pockets. And she had written on each pocket every child's name that came to their house that left something. So Addison knew exactly where to go. He'd go into the hall closet, he'd open it up, and his shoes would be in the pouches behind their door. But I've also seen it and have used it in bathrooms for all of those things that we need to easily get to. It is very hard for me, and I'm ashamed to admit this. There's like 3 different places my toothpaste could be, the extra toothbrushes, the pack of combs I bought because my husband and I are always fighting over the combs. And so having those things readily available and where you can see them really does help. Extra pretties for the grandchildren, combs, you name it, but medicine, so they have been a real lifesaver for many people. One thing I did not mention that I should do so right now is that elsewhere bin I was talking about, that also can apply to family members. As you're going in a room and you think, oh my goodness, I need to make sure Jackie gets this and I want Tommy to see this. You can have bins for them as well. Things that, I'm sure, I know it's my fault, but I have drawings from when my kids were little. It's still in our basement. And I need to get bins for my children and get their things in there. But anything small that you want them to see, that you want them to have, that you no longer want to be your responsibility, is always a good idea to put in those bins. So I just want to thank you, of course, for letting me be here. And just a couple of things I want you to remember, that this is a marathon and not a sprint. A lot of times, by the time we realize, oh my gosh, our house is cluttered. You've been in your house for 20 years perhaps or more. It took a long time to get that way. And so give yourself grace to allow yourself time to get them out of there. Most of the time, about 3 hours, no more than 4, before things kind of get foggy and you may not be making good decisions. 3 hours is good. You're gonna remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. You're gonna remember those yellow stickers. And you're gonna breathe. We're just gonna breathe, and we're gonna do the best we can, and if we have to revisit it, we will. Certainly, if you are to get stuck, you have my phone number. My family would love to be able to help you and your family should you need it.
Do we have questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So can you just paint a picture if when your family team comes in, what's it like when you're trying to help somebody downsize, whether it's to move or otherwise?
I can tell you, yes. Thank you for the question. So the first thing I do is a free consultation where I'm meeting with you at your home, and people go, oh, but I never meet people or see their homes at their best. If I did, I wouldn't have a job. So I do meet you at your home and ask questions, find out what your goal is. If you're planning on moving or staying there, what is your goal? And I then go home and come up with a plan, a personalized plan just for you that I then email. And should that plan appeal to you and you want to move forward, we'll plan another time for us to meet. And at that time, I bring a team lead into the situation who will be working with you one-on-one. Your team lead is the one that's going to be sure to lead you in the right direction, to make sure they're asking the right questions, to be there to hold your hand if you need it. They just become your partner in this process. If you're moving, it's also their job to be the one to stay awake at night, wondering if something got done so that you don't have to. You can just take all of that off your plate, and they will get you from place A to place B with as little stress. We used to say we take the stress out of changing your address. And then if you are going to be staying at home but you just need help, minimizing and organizing, they can assist with that also. And still the same way, by asking questions and really getting a feel for what you are looking for in your new space. We are not organizers. in my opinion, that is a whole nother branch. We certainly can make it so that you're with the things you love and can do that, but when it comes to those elaborate systems where you've got, the basket thing, I would leave that up to a professional organizer probably. We can definitely tell you how we would do it and be happy to assist you with that, but we are not professional organizers when it comes to that way. Yes, ma'am.
We have a lot of seasonal decorations that we put up in our house, fall, Christmas, and so forth. When is the best time, if we want to get rid of them and our children don't want them, when is the best time to start getting rid of them or selling them?
So that's a really good question. When to sell those Christmas and those decorations that you're not going to be using. I think October 1st is a really good time. I noticed that in place, so for a while I was selling on eBay, and Christmas things were I liked Christmas things so I could stand them being in my home when I was selling them. And it really starts picking up on eBay in October, the middle of October, and goes strong through the season. And there's even sales after Christmas as well. So you're hitting a pretty good time for the Christmas holiday season.
I have one other question too. Because we live in Lake in the Woods, it's a gated community. If we wanted to put something for sale out on Facebook or something, and we have a number of things, how are we going to get people in to the lake?
Well, very good question. My son and daughter-in-law live in the lake, and my daughter-in-law calls people in. So they tell her they're interested and that they're on their way, and then she calls the gate to let the gate know that they're coming. And so sometimes she'll go and meet them. It just depends.
Yeah, because we were thinking of multiple items we might want to put out, and not like an estate sale, but large numbers of things, and how we get them into the lake.
So years ago when I sold here at the lake, it was a one-day thing, and then I just it was one day for pickup. And I would just put all of the people that were picking up, and then I gave them a time that they could pick up. Like you, Mr. Smith, to pick up this baker's rack, need to be here at 9:30 Tuesday, and you, Mrs. Whoever, have to be here at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. And I just did it that way at the lake. It's not perfect, but it is doable.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Today in the paper or on the email, they said that the police department now has 2 spaces that are constantly videoed 24 hours. So if you were to meet someone there with like a piece of jewelry or something, they offered that today.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you could meet someone at the police station.
And there's 2 spaces.
Gotcha. Oh, that's wonderful, because that does become a problem, safety. Whereas you may not want them to come to your home. Certainly with larger items and having, I'm sure this gentleman is with you. Yes. When you have a man in the house, it does get a little easier. And again, it's not for everybody for that very reason, and some people don't feel comfortable on Facebook. So it is a good route when you do feel comfortable, but not so great when you don't. Yes.
I'm married to a collector, and he's not giving up anything.
Okay.
So my plan is to leave that till last.
Yes,
And we can just box it up and put it in storage while he decides about it.
that's a good idea. If he can't part with it and you're sick of seeing it, yeah, that would be a good, that would be a good compromise for sure. Did you have something, Jean?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. Yes, Trish.
I just had a question about, you mentioned storage. So say you put this large collection of collectibles in storage and you're paying, and it's monthly. Does your company go to storage units and help figure out what to do with those things?
Yes, we do. We often go to storage units to help thoughtfully disperse what is in a unit. And also we get calls from lawyers who perhaps one of their clients has passed. So yes, anywhere where there are things that need to be thoughtfully dispersed. We absolutely do that. And maybe you could tell your husband with his collections that, you're gonna be paying a lot of money if we can't make decisions. To me, a storage unit is like a delayed decision. Yes, but sometimes that doesn't matter.
Well, I can't do it now.
Okay.
I won't do it now. We're just, that's leaving that to last. I'm working on getting rid of the stuff we don't need right now.
Gotcha.
And what's, what I can get rid of without causing any issues.
Right. I hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you help people sell things?
Yes, I don't do, so I have different relationships. So I bring in buyers, I bring in our local auction company. I offer more high-end auction companies the opportunity, should there be one, for them to come. And then I have low-end buyers. So I do sell for our clients. But I don't do Facebook. It would be, I don't think it would be the best of your money asking us to do Facebook. It's very time consuming, and there's a lot of weeding out. Not everybody that contacts you and wants your things really does, so there's a lot of that. And I see your hand is, yes, ma'am.
I have a friend who just used your service recently, and she was extremely pleased.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
For myself, I did have someone come through the house, and the feedback I got was that I don't have enough stuff to sell, and what I do have is not in vogue.
Oh, wow. Did I tell you that?
No.
Okay, all right. So
Well,
it
do
is.
you want to come and tell me that?
Yeah, it is true. It's another thing that COVID has done. The market is saturated. Like furniture is not doing great right now. Even really good furniture, leather furniture, nice things no longer do we care. And I'm saying this not very nicely, but it no longer matters if it's a Driscoll, if it's an Ethan Allen, if it's solid maple. It doesn't matter now. It really has to be something, or Oriental for that matter. It really has to be something Asian, I should have said. So it's just a really tough market right now. So I hope that you weren't offended, because I can tell you 90% of the homes I go in now are like that. Lovely homes, lovely things, but doesn't mean lovely in the resale market.
Yeah, so what are the options?
Well, so a local auction company is always the best, not an estate sale company. And I don't know if you called an auction company or an estate sale. Okay. And we have, if you hear that from an auction company, there's more than one. Right? And you could also call me and we could figure out together, what might be a good fit. The guy that I use is really good. I can hear him saying, I don't think this would sell at auction. I can hear him saying that if it were true. And then, maybe we think about donating it, so that you can have a little bit of a write-off and know that it's going to someone who can use it. It just really depends on what it is.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
In a move,
So do
you
we have
provide
a
service to
telephone number?
manage and packing and unpacking?
Yes, sir. So we do all of it. So when I said the pictures, that's what we do. Your team lead would eventually have a group of packers come in. The packers would be taking pictures as they're packing, what's on your nightstand, your dresser, next to your favorite chair. And then we would do the move. We work with a mover, but to our clients, it looks like it's all us. You wouldn't know. We would arrange the move with him. And then we set up your new apartment. We also do a floor plan if needed. So we would know where your furniture's going. We would know that it's going to fit. We would unpack you, clean sheets on your bed. My husband makes sure that the TV and computer are working on move day. And we can hang curtains. We just get you totally set up as much as you would like. And then, as I said, we would go back to the house and worry about the other things if it works out. But yes, full service. Anyone else? One thing I didn't mention was, I kind of was talking about the girls, but we do have a few men here, and that is all of the things in the garage. So I didn't see it this time, but I sometimes see the man as I'm talking going, yeah, see, And I would just like to say, I see ice cream buckets full of golf balls and golf shoes and golf gloves, too many gas cans, tools, every tool known to man, dull saws, 3 ladders, nuts and bolts, and 3 or 4 tool boxes. And so you men are not out of this situation as much as you think. Luckily, auction does very well with the manly things. So I want to thank you again very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. So I learned a lot, and I know I've heard wonderful things about your company. I know there's also some other companies in the community, so if you're looking for this kind of support, contact Kim or one of the other companies that do that. She mentioned organizing. There are organizers in our community that you can hire. As you know, our LOWLINC volunteers do not do organizing, but we're trying to do our bit through our clean-out projects. So that was kind of our answer to helping you get started. So we have our next clean-out project coming up. Then it's called the Garage and Under the Sink Clean-Out Project, and it's October 18th. Okay, so you can go through your under the sink and all those chemicals that maybe you decided you don't want to use after all, or just want to get rid of safely. In the garage, the oil, the paint cans, I'm gonna save that paint because it matches those walls, and when you come back 20 years later and you open it up and see the mold, you think, why did I keep it all these years? So those are the kinds of things that we'll be collecting. Yes.
What's the date again?
It's October 18th, which is a Friday, and we'll be in the lower level parking lot of the clubhouse from 11 to 12:30. So you are welcome, if you're a LOWLINC member, volunteer, you're welcome to drop off your materials. We do have a list online, or in our emails, I guess, that we send out of what's accepted and what's not. There's a long list. And then our volunteers will actually take it to the landfill on Saturday. And it's a very popular day at the landfill. And this year we're actually partnering with the Lions, and so both organizations, it'll be open to members of both of those organizations, members and volunteers. So, and then of course we've done the linen clean out, the medical supply clean out, the shred event, partnering with the Lakota group. What else? Oh, and electronics recycling, yeah. So, and I just want to add on, since we have a few minutes, I just want to add on to what Kim shared. So much of what she said rang true. We had to clear out my parents' house, a couple of years ago, and we did some of the things you suggested and had the same experience, all these family heirlooms in the china cabinet. And then when we found out what they were worth, I couldn't give some of them away. Not only did the grandkids not want them, but even the thrift store did not want them. And I was, okay, wow. And so the other thing is we did some selling. We brought the auction house in. We had your experience. It wasn't enough for them to sell, which surprised me because my parents had a 3-bedroom house. a 3-level house, 5 bedrooms. And so we got on Marketplace and sold what we could. And guess where the rest of it went? Because I'm the nearby daughter. My house. And I was the sifter sorter, but that was really a very difficult situation because I just had way too much come to my house. I'm still sorting mostly the garage stuff. But Kim and I talked about this a little bit. Do you mind if I share a little bit about our conversation about me, what I've done? So because I went through this experience myself, I actually, don't worry, you can't hire me, but I actually got certified as a decluttering expert. And so I learned some tips that really helped me, and I think Kim alluded to this a little bit. As you go through, it's like peeling an onion. So if you have the luxury and you're not in a hurry to move, and you have the luxury of taking the time to start peeling those layers back now, I was amazed once I started over time are the things I ended up parting with that I thought I could never part with. You know, my parents, oh, my dad always used that, you know, that karaoke machine or whatever it was. It was boombox, that's what it was. And all his little tapes, well, maybe someday I'll do what he did and I'll go start a little dance group with that. And well, guess what? Didn't happen. So one of the tips for just kind of getting started before you call Kim is to go through your house and look at the different layers. So going through and looking for trash. It's amazing sometimes, like, I don't have any trash in my house. I don't keep trash sitting around my house. But when you really go looking, there is that broken cord or that thing that you are gonna fix for the last 25 years. And so maybe it's time to give up on that dream, because when you really want to have that space cleared out, or you just want to start downsizing, getting rid of trash, and then donating, like you were saying. If there's something that you know you don't want, throw it in the donating box and then get it out of your house, like as soon as possible. Don't wait till next week and like, oh, maybe I do want to keep that after all. You know, that's not how you make progress. And then, you know, you talked about that box doesn't belong in here. Look at your things and say, what do I know goes in another place? I have a place. I have that tape measure on my nightstand. I know I have a place in the kitchen where I keep my tape measures handy, or maybe I keep it in the garage. Wherever you keep it, it's the right place. And then after you go through those 3 steps, then you can start saying things like, would I know that I had this to look for it? And the answer is no. It means you're probably going to go out and buy another one, right? And so rather than keeping buying, like my husband and I, we bought, I bet 12 Allen wrench sets, because we kept losing them until we got organized. And so consider donating that, because you're not going to probably go looking for it, and then you'll just go buy another one, then you'll have 2 of them or 3 of them. And so you may decide that you can do that. And then last, when you know, I'm speeding up the process a little bit, but when you kind of go through that over and over, you get to a certain point where things start getting cleared out. And the nice thing is, if you're doing it slowly, you don't have to pull everything out like Oprah said, because guess what? We all get tired, right? You pull it all out, like, I'm making great progress. I'm going to go get a sandwich. I'm going to take a nap. And then you come back for the next, 6 weeks, and that pile is still there, and you don't know what you're going to do with it. So just do little bits at a time. Just focus on a closet or a room.
One question, I know we're running out of time. I've heard that certain children's furniture can't be donated because of hazards.
Oh, like lead paint.
Play.
Yeah.
Anything but paint, that's an issue. But I'm talking about cribs and...
Right, the slats are not close enough, or that kind of thing, yeah. It's hard because we all have that mentality. And again, I keep going back to Kim was saying so many good things, it's gotta go where it can be used the best. I can't throw away a perfectly good fill in the blank, right? But if it's not a perfectly good whatever, because it's not safe, and you can't take it apart and do a Pinterest project with it, throw it away.
But what if it is good?
If I can just interject, I have been to animal shelters that utilize playpens and cribs that are no longer
That is true. I mean, if you can find a good place for it and you get ideas like that to take it. But take it today. Don't think, I'm going to take that sometime, because if you just sit and think about it, it's not going to get your house cleared out. But you're right. There are, the animal shelter takes a lot of things. We've taken our linens there, right? And then as you get down to, okay, now I've cleared off my bookshelf, I've kept the things I want to keep, I'm not caring about the things I don't want to keep, like Kim said. So now I've got my bookshelf, but it's still overflowing. So you can group things together. I didn't know I had 3 copies of To Kill a Mockingbird. I didn't know I had, and so then you pick the one you want. And so those are just some tips that have really helped me. And yes,
What about books?
So books, there are places that you can take books. So the Friends of the Library take books and they sell them. So the Orange County.
They have to be fairly recent.
Okay, yeah, and they probably do have guidelines. I used to take everything there, but I know they have limited storage. For those of you who are willing to travel, I go up to Manassas to, I'm gonna forget the name of the bookstore, but there's a bookstore up there. What is it?
McKay's.
Hey,
McKay's.
McKay's, thank you, it's McKay's. So that's an amazing place. You can take your books, your CDs, your kids' your grandkids' video games. You can take comic books, what else? You know, anything collectible really, but especially books, and they don't take 8-track tapes. I don't think they take cassettes anymore, but they do take, I believe they might take VHS, they take DVDs. And so what's fun about them is you take it, you go in, they sort it while you're there, and then you can usually get like a little bit of cash and store credit. You can kind of have your choice. It's not a lot of cash, but you feel good because you got a little cash in your pocket, and you feel like your books are going somewhere where people are going to look.
If you don't mind, there's also Fredericksburg Books here in Fredericksburg, and they will, books are heavy. Face it, you know what, at least for me, I'm not gonna be hauling books somewhere. So for those of you that may not be interested in money, but you want your books out, Fredericksburg Books will come, and they will also take the games.
That's great to know.
They'll take games, they'll take books, they'll take VHS, not VHS, and they'll take the little CDs. They take a lot, and you didn't have to do anything but call.
It's Fred Books on Facebook.
Oh, Fred Books.
Yes,
Oh, kind of like Fred Nats, but it's Fred Books. Okay.
And they help, I mean, they use all that they can. They donate it to schools, they have a bookstore, so they're.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you told us about that. Yeah. Yeah, that's much closer than Manassas. Yes.
The Lioness Club has a book sale.
Oh, that's true.
Last Saturday of the month, except for December and January.
I'm so glad you mentioned that too. Yeah, because the Lionesses, you can donate your books to them as well. So there's lots of opportunities for books and related things.
Except they're running out of space.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
But yeah, so.
For $1, and that'll take care of it.
So, you know, there's some things you can do to get started, but there's also plenty of help, which I, in hindsight, should have done when it was my parents' house. I really could have used the help. It was a lot. Did you have a question back there?
I was just thinking about record albums.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
They take record albums.
Where is that?
Fred Books.
Fine.
In Fredericksburg.
But you want to go through it before you do, because some of them might be very valuable.
Yeah, the auction company will take records too. When he comes, he'll take the ones he knows he can sell. We used to have a place in Fredericksburg, I don't think we do anymore after COVID, but you could call him. You can call around, they'll let you know what they're looking for, and if you're lucky enough to have it.
He's on Caroline. I
Oh,
talked
is
to
he?
him.
Yeah. Oh, he's still here, good.
He's still here.
Yeah,
I gave him my
that's-
list, he said, no, thank you.
Oh.
We already had all the Beach Boys.
Okay.
I've talked to a lot of my friends too. You can't give away your china sets these days. You know, it's amazing, especially when you think about how much people paid to give you those gifts, right? Yeah. So.
I had someone who made a good point about, you know, with your china, is that if you don't want it around in your house anymore, but you have the space to box it, you know, just because your children don't want it doesn't mean that your grandchildren, you know, the style might change, you know, and so the next generation coming up might be more into fancy dining
That's
than
true.
the current generation, but that's a matter of whether you have
Right.
space to store
Yeah, if you
or
have
not.
space to store for future generations, right? That's always a toss-up. Yeah.
There's a place in, I think, North Carolina that deals with china.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah. So go to North Carolina now.
Replacements.
Replacements.
Yeah,
Okay.
replacements.com. The problem with them though is you have to ship it to them, and so you have to weigh the price of shipping.
Well, I ended up donating so much more than I ever dreamed I would, because I did sell some things on Facebook at Marketplace, but that takes time, energy, people don't show up. And also I found if I really wanted to turn it around, I thought, this is worth $25, I posted it for $10 or $15 and it was gone. If I posted it for $25, I still had it there 3 weeks later. So you have to really, if you want to get rid of it. So yes.
The Lioness Club,
Uh-huh.
or the Lions, has the indoor little house by the recycle. And they have china, they take china, beautiful.
Okay,
Gorgeous.
Lions take China. All right, that's good to know. So when I was trying to give it away, I should have given it to Lions.
I have a question for
Yeah.
Tim. Do you ever look up, finding out things that may be valuable? Do you use Google Lens to do that? And how, do you tell people how to go about if they're really questioning whether something is of value?
So I go,
And let me get you, let me repeat the question and have you come up and talk about it. So the question is, if you have something you think might be valuable, can you get help figuring out what the value is, especially if you want to use Google Lens or something like that. So, okay, I'm going to turn this over to you.
For me, of course I have resources, so when I'm involved, I'm calling two of my auctioneers to find out what they could get for it at auction. And of course they take the 40%, so I would add that back, to the, I have a buyer, she wanted something for $100, she wanted to purchase it for $100, so I called and asked our auction guy, hey, I'm sending you a picture, can you let me know what you think this would get at auction? And he told me he thought he could get $150 for it, so she was only $10 off for what he could get, because his percentage is 40%. So she got it for $110 and was very happy. But you can also go on eBay, so just for our neighborhood, our area, you can go on eBay and there's a button you can push that said recently solds. You want to make sure you go to what has recently been sold on eBay. And that is what I'm often looking at too. What did it sell for on eBay? And then understanding that in our area, it's about 35% of that it would sell for here. Also, there's a wonderful website you do have to pay for called WorthPoint, and I will also go to WorthPoint to find out. WorthPoint not only tells you what it's sold for on eBay, but it gives you a couple of other places that they've sold. Because when I go on Google, yes, I can see what people want for them, but that doesn't tell me anything about what they're actually going for. And that's what you want to see. It's not what somebody's listed something for, it's what somebody's actually gotten for those items.
Interesting story, when somebody had told me about Google Lens, I was taking down a spare room to paint, I was like looking at pictures, do I want this, do I want this? And this one, his parents had given us, I'm like, it's too big, I don't want it. I did a Google Lens, and it was actually a signed print, and it was for $1,000,
Wow.
and I sold it for $900.
Very good.
Just from taking that one little picture with Google Lens and doing the research on it, and then I went down and pulled up the printing. It was all signed. It was like number 300 of a $1,000 thing, but I still didn't have room for it, so I took the $900.
Did Google Lens let you know who would purchase it from you, or did they just tell you?
No, that was like the name of the artist, whoever, I forget, it was the scenes of Ocean City or something, but whatever artist does all these scenes of different cities.
But how did you find a buyer for it is, I guess, what I'm curious. So you contacted him?
No, I put it on
eBay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I heard you. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And then that's what all eBay people are hoping, that they're going to put a price in, that's the price you're going to pay. And typically you do, but for our area, I need to go down and see what they actually sold for.
Any other questions?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a lot of art pieces that I bought a long time ago, because I had an interior design shop. I was going to sell it to the public. When I closed my business, I still have all this art sitting in the closet. So I was just going to start giving it away, and I thought, well, I'll just look it up and see what it's worth. They've got certificates of authenticity and all that with it. They're brand new, really, in the closet all these years. And it was worth $2,400. I was going to give it away.
Wow. Were you able to sell it?
I haven't tried yet. I haven't had time. I
Right.
really want to. I've got a bunch of art like that, boxes of it.
I think, sort of like I was saying earlier, Facebook Marketplace is good for like furniture and things. If you can sell on eBay, used to be we had people in Fredericksburg that sold on eBay for other people. I don't think they have that anymore. But if it's something you can do yourself on eBay, just as she was saying, you'll do much better than eBay allows you also to name your price within reason. And then if it's not selling for that price, they allow you to, bring it down. So you have control on eBay of what you sell it for. My auction company would take that art in a heartbeat, but you would have no control over what you got for it.
I'm actually taking it to a friend of mine. She has a little store.
Oh, great.
On the other side of Culpeper, and I'm gonna try and sell it there first.
I think that's a great
I'll probably
idea.
get more money, because she's an interior designer, and she will get the money out of it, but I'm trying to sell on eBay probably. I'm hoping I get at least.
Well, you certainly will have eyes on it, constantly, and it doesn't sound like you're in a hurry. In our line of business, many times people need something now, right? But the more time you have for people to look at it and appreciate it and think about it, the better off.
Yeah. No room for it.
This has been so helpful. Thank you so much, Kim, for being here and helping us.